Hey guys, we are back at Kataf, and we are talking to one of the greatest directors of our time, who actually directed Nimona, the most amazing films I've ever seen in my life. And Troy, please tell me, what was that like?
After that introduction, I can't say it was boring.
Definitely not.
No, it was amazing. I mean, it was a roller coaster ride of a movie. We were making it, and then all of a sudden the studio was closed, and then we had to go find financing, and we were making it again. So it was exhilarating and heart-wrenching, but I think at the end of the day, it was the heart of the story, the heart of the character of Nimona that just shone through and connected with people. And the movie just didn't want to stay dead. So I'm so glad that it's out in the world and people can watch it.
Wow, amazing. I mean, okay, so you've worked on Nimona, but what has been the most amazing project that you've worked on ever?
I mean, I've got to say Nimona. I know, still Nimona. It's a boring answer, but I mean, the chance to direct this film, to tell this story, like I said, to bring it back from the dead. It went from not existing to being nominated for an Academy Award. And not that awards are everything, but it's just that acknowledgement of this thing you're so passionate about.
Definitely.
Connecting with everyone else. But I mean, I've been super blessed in my career. I've got to work on all kinds of different things. My first job was in-betweening on the original Space Jam, starring Michael Jordan, which is pretty awesome. I love directing Spies in Disguise, my first film. It was a chance for me to make a Bond movie. Of course, James Bond turns into a pigeon, but yeah, it was crazy. The fun of animation. I was head of story on a film called Enchanted for Disney with Amy Adams. So I've been lucky to work on some amazing projects in my career.
That's awesome. And you mentioned Spies in Disguise and obviously Nimona. What's the difference between those two films and directing on those two different films?
There's a lot of things that are similar, but I'd say the difference on those two, I think Spies was very much going for a big blockbuster tentpole summer sort of action flick. So we were really leaning into the entertainment, the action set pieces, the comedy, and all those things exist in Nimona. We have big action set pieces. I think it's really funny, but for Nimona we were really digging deeper into sort of an emotional character core, a thematic story to tell, something to say with those characters. So it was just it was resonant on a whole different level in an emotional way.
Definitely. That's awesome. And what was it like going from being an animator, storyboard artist, all the way to a director? Like, what were the steps that you took, and what's so different about directing compared to those different jobs?
A great question. So yeah, I started as an animator and I loved it. I mean, it was the opportunity to bring a character to life, make them talk and dance and evoke some emotion, right? The illusion of life, as it were. And then once computer animation came in, I worked on one animated film in the computer, but then rolled into story. And I realized that as an animator working at a shot at a time, I had these questions about how those shots connected to other sequences. And that's when story made sense. I'm like, I had a idea where I wanted to tell bigger portions of the story. And then that just naturally progressed to being a director where I wanted to tell every aspect of the story, whether that's in storyboard or animation, the lighting, the camera work, all the post work, the music. It's all a tool in my tool belt as a filmmaker to tell the story. And so, yeah, one thing led to another.
That's awesome. And okay, so out of all these experiences of working on all these different amazing productions, I might say, what's the most challenging thing? Specifically on Nimona, what was the most challenging thing?
Oh boy, on Nimona, I think like every film, it doesn't matter whether it's a small independent film that you're scraping together and doing with blood, sweat, and tears, or a big budget studio film. You have to will it into existence. You bring in your personal energy, and you've got to come at it every day, wanting it to exist. I think a movie's natural state is to not exist, right? So every day is that challenge. And I think with Nimona, just with the challenges we had, with the studio closures, with financing, but also just the challenging nature of the story being told, it was really one of those things where you need to keep digging deep and finding that emotion. But we had a great crew around us, some great support, and it made every day worth it.
That's awesome. And last question.
Yeah.
What is the piece of advice that you would give young South Africans trying to get into the animation industry and trying to make it work in this industry that seems to kind of be against them?
It feels like that. It really does. But what I'd say is, with technology today, I mean, there's not a lot stopping you. Like when I started out, you needed a giant studio behind you to get something made. Now you can do it on your phone. Like, the technology has really destroyed the barrier for entry, right? It's about having an idea, having something to say, and then just getting up every morning and doing the work to say it, right? You can release it online for free. You can, there's so many avenues. So I say the biggest thing, don't be afraid, right? Believe in yourself. And just, you have to do the work. Like, you have to do the work, but get it done, and put your excitement, your enthusiasm, your ideas out into the universe. The universe can't answer if you don't put it out there, right? Like, I was an animator, and I said, one day I want to direct movies. So, if I hadn't put that into the universe, then no one would have known to say, oh, you want to direct one? And then you start a conversation with someone, you want to make a film. You don't know how to get started, or you don't know how to write it, but you've got this idea. You put it out there, and all of a sudden someone's like, oh, I'd love to write. This is a great idea. I have a very similar idea. You don't know, and if people can't answer back if they don't know you need help. So always reach out. There's a great community out there. Animation is global, but it is an incredibly supportive and positive community. So, just, you know what? Just do it. Do it.
Do it. I love it. I love it. Great. That's some awesome advice. And just to end this all off, thank you so much for standing with us, chatting to us.
My pleasure.
And giving us some really good advice. So this is a little comic that we made at the beginning of this year. It's called Row the Edge of Masks.
Awesome.
And we want to give you one of the only physical copies of this comic. So,
that's amazing. Yeah. Thank you so much. This is so cool. I appreciate this. This has been amazing. Cape Town has been incredible. This, South African animation industry is spectacular and vibrant, and it's been a pleasure to be here.
Oh, that's awesome. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. See you guys. Thanks
Cheers.
so much for watching.